Might go in. It's got a chance. If you struggle with starting your golf swing correctly, namely the hip motion, this drill works absolutely brilliantly. So all I've got here is a cane running up the trail side of my leg, and I'm just setting it around in touch with the back, perhaps the back of my heel. And the idea is that I'm feeling a bump and a turn. So where this really helps is if you are someone who's swaying too much laterally away from the golf ball, or perhaps you're the opposite and you're more of a reverse pivoter, this exercise works great. And in a minute, I'll show you how you could just adapt this for some at home. Now, if you're off turf, this is really simple. Shove an alignment stick in the ground, getting it around the same height as your hip. If you're on a driving range, you may have to put a bucket on the floor, or if you've got a swing plate that will hold an alignment stick. I've made this aim stick a little bit shorter. We don't want it up here because it gets jammed into your rib cage. It hurts. So let's go around hip height. And as I said, the feel here is a little bump. So most elite golfers, as they start their backswing, they bump their pelvis away from the target by 1.5 inches or so. It does depend on the club, but 1 to 2 inches. So we see a little bit of a bump, a little bit of move, but then as they finish their backswing, their pelvis starts to recenter. So it starts to actually move back to about where it was. And as they're starting their downswing and moving into the downswing, their pelvis is definitely moving towards the target, away from this stick. So the majority of elite golfers, and again, it depends on the club they've got in their hands, but they're moving towards their target with their pelvis, let's think of that being the belly button, by somewhere between 5 and 10 inches. So 10 would be pretty extreme, but that's where Scotty Scheffler is with a driver. So there's definitely hip moving forwards towards the target. Golfers who I see struggle quite often have too much lateral sway. They roll to the outside edge of their trail foot here. They bang into this cane. They don't ever move away from it. And they get stuck on their trail foot. Or you get the odd golfer who reverse pivots and hangs on their lead side, and we see this massive gap. They never bump this cane. So let me show you it as a motion, as a movement. So pretty close to my trail leg. And I'm simply going to bump it quite early, almost in that takeaway position when the club is at P2 here, first parallel to the ground. I want to bump that cane. It's because we're pulling the club off the ground. We are using our body. It's an athletic motion. It's not just hands and arms. We're pulling the club off the floor here. There's a little bump. And then as I complete my backswing, I turn and I'm going to leave a couple of inch gap from my trail hip to the cane. Now in the downswing, and if I wanted to focus on downswing, this video is more about backswing, but if I want to focus about downswing and I was recording myself from face on, if I can start to see a bigger gap creating there, I know my pelvis, my hips are going towards the target. I'm shifting my weight effectively. Let me show you that one. So let's try and bump and turn. So it feels like I'm moving here, loading my pressure into my trail side, recentering myself at the top of the backswing. But the thought is just a bump and turn, so really, really simple. Now at home, when you're not hitting golf balls, you could still put a ball down as a focus point, and then with another alignment stick or another club, I'd encourage you to pop it on the floor just behind the golf ball. And what I'm trying to get, if I put now this club across my shoulders, keep that cane running up the side of my leg, I'm trying to get my shoulders to turn slightly behind the golf ball in line with that white stick. So my left shoulder, my lead shoulder, feels like it turns over that alignment stick on the floor. Same lower body movement, it's a bump and a turn. When I get to the top here, I really feel the pressure on the inside of my trail thigh. But you can see I've created a little gap here. So I'm not shifting mass, but I am shifting pressure. So I'm getting my pressure through to my trail side, but without my body swaying a lot off the golf ball. And that's a real key move. So club across your shoulders, a cane or a club in between your feet, just behind the golf ball. And obviously I've got this one like I had a minute ago, just for my trail thigh. Bump, turn. That's that feeling of loading correctly into the backswing. Let me finish with one last shot. See if I can, this video isn't about downswing, but let's see if I can create a bigger gap on the downswing, get my pelvis going even more forwards. and then I know my pressure's getting into that lead side. It's really going to help your ball striking. It's really going to help your power input if you can load that backswing correctly. Give it a go. Let me know how you get on. Don't forget to smash the like button if this helps and subscribe to the channel for more content.